Well, good morning, happy gardeners. This is Ed from The First Time Gardener. Today I'm bringing you back a little video of something I think is going to help me quite a bit in my garden for seed starting. I went and ordered this product and I want to unbox it here, and we're going to explain a little bit about what it is and why I think it's important to help starting our seeds. All right, so let's open this up and I'm going to show you what we got. I bought this off of Amazon, and basically what it is a garden sifter, a soil sifter. So let's take this out and take a look at it. Now they had 100 different ones. One of the reasons I picked this one is because it seemed like it was well made for the little bit that I'm going to be using it for. It had handles on it, and the biggest thing is it comes with screen sifters, and there's 3 different sifters so that you can get whatever size. Actually there's 4, and I'll show you. They have holes from, it's about a ½ inch, almost a ½ inch by ½ inch holes that comes in there, down to maybe it's an 1/8 by 1/8 inch hole with a screen, so you can figure on whichever one you want. There's your next one. That's probably about 1/4 by 1/4. This is like 3/8 by 3/8, and then you have your ½ by ½ for your big stuff. So in the store, when you go to buy seed starting mix, it usually comes in smaller bags, and it's quite expensive. And the difference between a potting soil, a regular potting soil, and a seed starting mix is the product itself that you're putting the seeds in is much finer. There's not all the big wood particles and chips that come in typically in a potting soil. And if you know in my past videos, I've shown you how I make my potting soil that I pretty much start all my plants in. But I've found recently in some of the seeds, I wasn't getting as good germination as I thought I should. And one of the reasons is I thought maybe my seeds were old and the germination percentage was just low. But I'm thinking now, with a little bit of research, that the seeds I'm putting into the potting mix, that my homemade potting mix, is just not fine enough to incorporate the dirt and that around the seed. So there's probably getting a lot of air, or it's stuck between 2 pieces of larger product like wood chips, and it's just not germinating. So that's why I'm using this here. So what I'm going to do today, oh, and by the way, this also fits in a 5-gallon bucket. So you can take your sifter, put it right on top of a 5-gallon bucket. You can take whatever sifter that you want to use and you put it in there, and you pour your product in there, and then just stir it around with your hand, and it collects in your 5-gallon bucket. So I thought that was pretty nice. So today what I have is I have some dried up green bell pepper seeds, and these are just from the store, one of the green peppers that I used for dinner, and I saved the seeds and I dried them out. The seeds are probably dried out maybe a month and a half. So we're going to plant these seeds today in our mix that we're going to sift, and we're going to see if that makes a difference here. Okay, so let me get this started here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to plant these seeds. So in this 5-gallon bucket that I have is my homemade potting soil. So what it is potting soil that I got at Lowe's, and I did peat moss, and I did about 2/3 potting soil, 1/3 peat moss. It's a good mixture. The peat moss is what holds the moisture in. That particular mix that I make works pretty good for up potting and doing all the other stuff I have to do in my garden when we're putting it, you know, transplants into pots to grow. But for seed starting, it hasn't been so good. I'm going to take the finest one, which I think is like a 1/8 by 1/8 inch holes, Gonna put that in our 5-gallon bucket. And then this is my pre-made potting soil, homemade. And we're going to sift this out a little finer. So as we're doing this sifting, of course, the reason we're doing this is we want to get these large particles out that are in here to make the seed mix finer, so that we don't have a lot of this large woody stuff. Oh yeah, so the difference from the pot compared to this here, you can see the difference. This is really rough, got a lot of large aggregate in it. This is nice and fine and smooth, which is going to compact very nicely around the seeds. All right, I'm not going to waste this stuff. I'm just going to set this aside in the box and grab another handful. And we're going to do this a few times because I need enough. We're going to do 2 6-packs with the green bell pepper seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and sift out enough here, and we're going to come back and show you what we come up with. Now, another thing on your seeds, you don't have to get a mix that has fertilizer in it for right now, because the seeds that you're going to planting have enough energy to sprout the seed and to grow until you get your first true leaves on it. Then after that, you might want to think about a liquid fertilizer, depending on what you're growing. You know, maybe a liquid that's like a 10-10-10 or a 20-20-20, and mix it up with your water canister and feed them after they turn up and they start getting their first true leaves on it. All right, guys, you get the idea of this. We're going to keep doing this until we have enough to fill the 6-pack up. All right, guys, we're done sifting. So I wanted to bring you up closer and show you the difference. You can see all the sticks in that in here, and right here is very nice and firm. Like, you can press it down and it almost compacts to a really tight ball. And that's what we're going to use for our seeding. Now, this that we sifted, it's still got a lot of big pieces and stuff over there. Now, you can take the next size sifter and sift this again, and that would be good for up potting. So your seedlings that grow here, once they get a little big, if they get a little leggy, you can take them and up pot them into this here, which is still, if you sift it with the next sifter size, it's still going to have a lot of small particles in it, but not as large as what some of these are. Because you can see, let's dig out some. Like here's twigs. You can see the size of these sticks in that twigs. I have here's some bark, another big twig. So these are the things that get incorporated that your seeds sit on there, and then it's not encompassed by dirt, which cuts down your germination. So we're just going to take this that we sifted out, and we are going to put it back into our 5-gallon bucket and save this for up potting or whatever we're going to do with it later on. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to take our 6-pack, I'm going to hold it over, and we're going to 3/4 fill this here, and then just punch it down. Actually, we filled it to the top. Now, this stuff is so fine, there's a lot of air in it, so you want to make sure that you pack it in good, because you don't want any air. Now, this is not wet, it's kind of moist just from the dew and stuff we have in the air, and it packs down really nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these seeds packed well, and then we're going to put 2 seeds in every cell, and then we're just going to dust the top enough so that there's about 1/8 of an inch soil over the seeds. And just by this sifter I can feel a big difference and compared to the potting soil mix that I had before. A lot less sticks, a lot less big particles. Here's what we have it down to. All right, so it's packed down. It's about 1/4 of an inch from the top. We're going to put 2 seeds in each cell. These are my dried seeds. I'm going to put 2 in each cell. And if you could, when you put the seeds in there, separate them a little bit so they're not on top of each other. Because what's going to happen, one may only germinate, or both may germinate, and if you have them side by side, it's going to be hard to thin them out later, because once these come up and they start getting their true leaves on, you want to select so you leave one plant growing in each cell. So you pick the strongest one and then snip the other one at ground level. Okay, so we're literally just going to dust these with just a little bit of the sifted soil. You want to end up with like 1/8 of an inch, no more than 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're just going to keep a fine mist in here. We just want it moist. We don't want it soaking wet, and we don't want it to dry out either. So that's one ready. We're going to do one more. Okay guys, so we have a 6-pack capability of hopefully getting 12 plants. These are the green bell pepper plant. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that if you're having trouble with your seeds germinating and starting, that maybe you'll go ahead and grab one of these. I'm not sponsored by any of this. It's just something I wanted to add to my garden. That I think is going to be more productive for me. And you can store these in different buckets. You can sift a half bucket full and use for your seed starting tray. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Any comments that you'd like to have, put in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think about this, if you're using a sifter to do that, or has this sparked an interest that you may order one as well and try it. So thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate all your views and your time watching us. And until we see you next time on the next video, take care, God bless, happy gardening. We'll see you on the next one.